Okay, welcome back to Bounce Around Charleston. I am so excited right now to have this young man sitting in front of me, Mr. Charlton Singleton, and he's going to tell us some exciting and wonderful things that's been happening with Ranky Tanky and anything else he wants to share what's going on in his life. Welcome, Mr. Singleton, to Bounce Around Charleston.
Thank you, sir. It's always a pleasure to talk with you. I'm been, of course, a longtime fan. I'm always put you on the hot seat. I'm still waiting for that album of yours to drop. But thank you for having me on your show. It's always a pleasure.
Well, Charlton, we want to hear what you all have been doing, any future things you have coming up. Tell us some wonderful things that have happened with you and the group.
Well, with venues and festivals sort of reopening over the summer, we jumped back onto the touring scene. So that was always good. We had some very good, safe performances, a lot of outdoor shows towards the middle and the end of summer. And then anytime we performed indoors, it was always good safety protocols were at play. But we've been very fortunate. We did a little run in October where we were in, it felt like every other day we were in a different state. We were in Minnesota, we were in Illinois, we were in California, we were in just all of these different places. In the first week of November, we ventured out and we played in Bern, Switzerland for a week.
Wow.
Yeah, which was incredible. It was a great festival that they had, and we did a little week-long residency. So that was great. We've done a few college campuses, like we were at Michigan State University. We were at University of Georgia. We're working on new material. Well, that's always the case.
Yes.
Especially when you talk about, Gullah and, the origins, when you're in church and somebody raise up a song,
Yes.
So yeah. So it's a lot of raising up of songs at sound checks that we get to record and come back to and revisit. So there's a lot of that going on. We're about to go on a little mini tour. We've got some shows coming up in some iconic places, like we're playing at the legendary Blue Note Club in New York City for 4 nights with really famous singer, and doing some shows with Lisa Fisher, who's an incredible vocalist. So Ranky Tanky has been very blessed and to just be still able to go out and perform and to do what we love and spread a lot of that, Gullah love.
But tell me something. How did this group come together?
Oh gosh, well, the short answer is the short and quick answer is we've known each other for a long time. Our friendships go back to the mid 90s. But the short story is that Clay Ross, the guitarist in the group, had been out on the road traveling, and all of us had been, doing our own thing and been out traveling and performing with other groups and leading our own things and everything. But Clay approached us, I guess somewhere around 2014, 2015. And he said, there's a lot of people out there that are playing the music from their country or from their city or from their region or whatever. And no one's out there really doing a sort of contemporary version of the music of where we're from, which is Gullah. Why not us? And so we decided that we were going to give it a shot. And after a lot of conversations between the 5 of us and a lot of prayer, we decided that we were going to give it a shot. And the plan was really to do maybe 15 or 20 shows a year, just because we were all still working on other things and had other bands that we were leading and everything. But it snowballed, and the rest is history. We had our plan, but God got his plan. So we all know how that works.
Okay, Charlton, we've heard a whole lot about your group, but I also heard something about a Grammy. What about that?
Yes, well, our sophomore record, it's called Good Time, was released in July of 2019, and it managed to get on the ballot for a Grammy Award in the category of Best Regional Roots Album. And if you're unfamiliar with what that means, it basically means that um, roots meaning specific to one area and regional, so there's a certain sound. Gullah has a certain sound, as we all know from this area. Um, I always tell people that there's a certain sound to Hawaiian music when you listen to it. There's a certain sound um, to Zydeco music when you listen to it. And so um, it's that specific sound that people can recognize. And this category was one that we were placed in. And we were very fortunate enough to come home with the Grammy.
Okay, Charlton, well, you've got the Grammy. Were there any other awards that you all received along the way?
We had a state House resolution presented to us by Representative Wendell. He's always been a fan, like yourself, very supportive of us individually as well as a group. And he arranged to get a state resolution for the band, and we were all presented with that. So that was cool. Leading up to the Grammys, Mayor Tecklenburg made a proclamation to the Charleston City Council. So we have a Ranky Tanky Day that happens in December. So between that and just the love and support from all of the family and everybody in the village, that's been our thing, and that's all we need, really.
And how did you get the name Ranky Tanky?
Ranky Tanky is it's loosely translated into meaning work it or get funky with it, but it's a kids game. It's a kids game. So everybody knows those little games that you play, those little sort of patty cake type of games. Well, Ranky Tanky is one of those games, and the chorus of this game goes: pain in my head, Ranky Tanky, pain in my hands, Ranky Tanky, pain in my feet. Move. Now picture kids doing this.
Yes.
And so we thought it was a very unique name, and we decided to name the band after it. And it's catchy, and actually it has worked in that way, in that it has gotten people's attention because of the name. This one lady said, she was a producer, and she said, "What's this Ranky Tanky thing I see right here?" And she picked up the CD and she decided to Google what Ranky Tanky was, and she saw the band name, and she followed up on the story, and that happened to be the producer for Fresh Air with Terry Gross, which is a national program.
Wow.
And so they contacted us based off of just that name in the beginning. And then once they found out what the story was or what the band was about, next thing you know, we're being heard on national public radio on an estimated 6 to 8 million listeners. So, that's it. It worked in that part, marketing.
Well, tell me something. Where can we see you real soon?
Well, Ranky Tanky, we do a lot of performances sort of outside of the area, although we have had a few in the last few months with the pandemic, just sort of played our best, close to home and everything. But you can always check our website, which is just rankytanky.com, RANKYTANKY, and see where we're playing. We have videos that are up on YouTube, but we also have social media, like you can find us on Instagram and on Twitter and Facebook, all of those things, to see when we're going to be someplace near you. One thing that I always enjoy is that we get a lot of people, no matter how far we go, we get a lot of people that come to the concert and they say, well, such and such told me to come and see you. And I'll say, well, who's such and such? Oh, well, that's my cousin. They live in Buck Hall, South Carolina. Oh, that's my cousin. You know, you'll appreciate this. We were in Pennsylvania, and this man yelled out in the middle of the show. He said, I'm from Charleston. And I just went, okay, all right. And then he said, well, really, I'm from Ackaby. And I went, wait a minute, hold it, stop. Because when you pinpoint it like that, that's a whole different story. You know what I'm talking about, Rev?
Yeah. Well, okay, well, now, before we close out this segment, tell us who all are part of the group.
All right, so there's myself, and I play trumpet and I sing. There's Kiana Parler. Kiana is our lead singer. We have Clay Ross on guitar, Kevin Hamilton on bass, and Quentin Baxter on drums.
Charlton Singleton, Bounce Around Charleston, says, thank you for what you do, and Ranky Tanky.
Thank you, sir. It's always a pleasure to talk to you, and I appreciate everybody with Bounce for giving me the opportunity to come and just run my mouth a little bit about what we're doing out there. Thank you all for the love.